6 total touchdowns, deep shots downfield, questionable accuracy, 44 points, and 2 turnovers. The old Josh Allen is back, baby.
Yes. And you know what? I'm going to give a big shout out to Coach Brady because he was dialing it up. I loved it. I really loved what I saw out of Coach Brady.
Listen, what do you know? Josh Allen, once again, breaking records, making records. Like, he's him, right?
This is Broken Table. Hein, Tekeyah, Stevie Johnson. Bills put up 44 in a big win over the Bucs. Just a fun game, the real shootout. But yeah, like Stevie, let's dive into what you just said with Joe Brady. The criticism was there all week. Where was the downfield passing game? And just like that, the downfield passing game is back. So what did you see in Brady's game plan that kind of changed from what we've seen earlier in the year?
Well, I saw him giving Josh options. And then when Josh didn't take the right option, he ended up dialing up a play where Josh needed to go, and it was successful. The thing about when Josh missed some of those options is he's the king of scrambling. He's the king of making something out of nothing, and we saw that. So it wasn't necessarily that Brady dialed up downfield plays. It was actually short routes, but with Josh being Josh, he made it happen, and then guys scrambled and got downfield like the Tyrell Shavers play. So it was really good to see the game within the game from Coach Brady giving Josh options and then, letting him go with that or, directing wherever he needed to go. So, yeah, that was cool for me.
The Shavers play was it exactly. Like he just bought time and then gave his guy room to make a play. And then sure enough, perfect strike and Shavers is open. Like, I loved what I saw from Shavers. We'll get into Coleman a little later, but yeah, like I think you nailed it there. Like there was Brady put him in a position to succeed, and when things broke down, he made plays himself.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous because they had a bit of an embarrassing game on offense against Miami, and then the first drive, Allen tries to avoid the sack in the end zone, and he throws an interception. So you're like, oh gosh, where's this game going?
It did in the crowd. Like I was there yesterday. Everybody was just like, oh, here we go again. Yeah, exactly.
But they were able to turn it around and look dominant and come back and win and look really, really good on offense. So I don't know, does being able to turn things around like that make the interceptions or missed targets a little more tolerable? I don't know, but they won.
I feel like when anything comes from Josh, it's always tolerable. If it's Josh's fault, it's all good. You know what I mean? But if it's somebody else, then yeah, we can definitely give our 2 cents, maybe 3 cents, if it's somebody else. But yeah, if it's coming from Josh, it doesn't really matter too much.
Now, I have been accused in the past of being a Josh Allen apologist, and I'm not gonna lie, I am a Josh Allen apologist. He's the best. I will apologize for Josh Allen all the time. The first interception, it was gonna be a safety.
A safety, exactly.
So like I understand what he's doing, and like usually when you're doing one of those little the chest pass from a quarterback, you're not expecting that to be intercepted, but it was. And on the second interception, that was actually better than an incomplete pass because it was 4th down. You throw the interception. If it's an incomplete pass, they're going to get the ball 5 yards upfield anyway. So who cares if you throw an interception there? Obviously, you want to convert the 4th down, but like that one isn't as big of a deal to me. So what worried me a bit with Josh was that he missed some guys. Like on the 2-point conversion, he had Reggie Gilliam wide open and just sailed it right over his head. And there were some questionable accuracy things, but look, he threw the ball downfield. Here's a good stat for you. Allen on passes over 10 air yards, 7 of 12 for 168 and 2 touchdowns. He can be inaccurate if he's hitting those big plays down the field.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the first interception that he had in the end zone, his read was off. The blitz was coming from the left side. His wide receiver on the X side was taking too long to get into his route, so he should have been off of that and went to the right side to Khalil. Then you would have saw Khalil coming across, and that would have been an easy big play for Khalil. But things happen. And then the second one, he had Ty Johnson on the swing route. His guy, I think it was Shavers at the top. He did an under route, and he brought his linebacker or DB. And then you had Knox coming across on another under. Josh should have read that and saw that his running back was open. And this is where I said Brady played a great play calling job. He allowed Josh to have that play, which was an interception, but it could have been a completed 4th down to Ty Johnson. The next possession, it was another 3rd and 5. And Brady did not give Josh the opportunity to have a read. He set up a swing screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your only option. And Josh made that play, and Ty did what he would have done the play before, the series before. So that's why I felt like this was a big game for Coach Brady, and I want to give him his flowers because I definitely was all over him. And he showed big today.
You're not the only one. The whole fan base has been killing Joe Brady, and like anything with the NFL, it's just such a reactive sport. Like we have a full week and we're guilty of it too.
It's week to week.
It's week to week, and everything changes. But like, I think we all kind of thought Joe Brady was still a good coach. He maybe just got away from letting Josh be Josh, and maybe it seemed like they were drilling into his head the importance of not turning the ball over.
He's the best at scrambling or at the scramble play. And it's like, originally as we grew up, the scramble play was the last option. So to see a guy so good at the last option is like, okay, that means you're bypassing the first, second, third, fourth, you know what I mean? And you're just going to, hey, guys, make something happen. And he's so great at making it happen. It just scrambles our brain. But this is the new world. This is the new age that we're in. And I'm glad that he's on our team and not on somebody else's.
Yeah.
Even when Josh Allen has not his best game, he still made history, as that was the third time in NFL history a player has had 3 pass touchdowns and 3 rush touchdowns. Other times, Otto Graham, 1954 NFL championship game. None of us were alive for that, but apparently it was a beatdown of the beatdown of the Lions from the Browns. And then the other time, Josh Allen, Week 14, 2024, that game against the Rams last year, and yesterday. So like,
Josh Allen and Josh Allen.
you love it. You love that tweet. Josh Allen, first quarterback ever, and that's pretty much what it was. So like, even when he's bad, he's still making history, and it was a lot of fun watching him look like vintage Josh Allen yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, they say get the ball to your best player. It's the sentiment, and Josh Allen is your best player. Yeah. So let Josh Allen.
Yeah, and he has to stay in that mindset to apply pressure. I think Josh has been so successful. He comes into games and he wants to be super calm, because there's a lot of hype going on around him, and that's our natural instinct. I feel like Josh can step into games and just apply pressure. Like you guys saying, Josh beat Josh. Just apply pressure and go attack these guys. And then, 90% of the time is going to be a W other than a loss.
Well, let's then go to the next biggest talking point, and that was the receiving core. So here's the news that what we know. Keon Coleman, late to a meeting on Friday, disciplinary action, wasn't active for the game. We saw Gabe Davis make his return. We saw...
Shavers have a good game.
To me, Shavers was like, and I'll give you the stat. Tyrell Shavers averaged 6 yards of separation on 15 routes run against the Bucs. This is from your boy Alex Brasky, Stevie. And then before he was benched in Week 11, Keon Coleman averaging 2.8 yards of separation. So what changed with that receiving core? When you watch that receiving core without Keon Coleman, what was different Sunday, Stevie?
Nothing.
Just the same. Is the same thing.
It was the same thing. The only difference was you saw
they were able to get
Josh
separation.
looked X more than he did when Keon was in the game in Miami, and that was the one pass to Curtis Samuel on the sideline, which was great. That's what we need. Those type of things. But everybody still got 2 targets, 3 targets. Mm-hmm. He just let it rip more, and that's all I saw. So I don't think nothing changed, to be honest.
Now, when you look at you have this game where everything kind of clicks. Keon Coleman's out. Would you keep this the same? Are you benching Keon Coleman Thursday against the Texans, or do you think he's in the lineup?
If it ain't broke, don't fix. Don't try to fix it. I would say, let it flow and just keep going, considering that you have a Keon Coleman on your roster. You have him. He's a young guy and he's going to be here. If the staff has faith in him like they've shown, then I would say why not keep it going. But if he has a great week of practice and the coaches do decide to play him, that shouldn't change up Josh's mentality to try to force it to somebody, and I think that's where Josh kind of hits that low. If you can just allow him to go out and let it rip, even if Keon's there, you see him looking that way towards the X, like he was looking at Josh Palmer on the interception, like he was looking at Curtis Samuel on that big third down conversion. He wasn't looking at Keon on his plays where it could have been touchdowns. He looked at Keon when it was just a go route and was only on him. That's cool. Then it was a scramble play and he find them underneath, unintended passes. So it's not really anything changing. It's just Josh got to let it rip and apply pressure, and that'll get everybody involved. It's not on Keon to make those plays.
Well, if the huge issue with Keon was that he wasn't getting separation, and as you mentioned, Shavers is getting all the separation, and it's making Josh Allen more confident or feel more confident to pass it downfield to those guys, you put Keon back in who can't get the separation, and Josh doesn't feel it coming to him. I feel like you bench him.
I'm with you exactly. I think it's harsh to bench him, but like you said, everything really clicked on Sunday against the Bucs.
Yeah.
And I think because you're on a short week, you probably want to keep rolling with that. So to Stevie's point, he might not have the time to get in a great week of practice because you only have You only have 2 practices before you're then playing again. So I think because it's a short week, maybe you don't make him inactive, but then that could come down to like a special teams decision or whatever. But I think you roll with the exact same group you had. You got Josh Palmer back. Mm-hmm. You elevated Gabe Davis.
You have experience with Gabe Davis too.
They have chemistry.
Yeah, and
Gabe Davis looked okay. And Josh even apologized. Gabe Davis should have had a touchdown. Josh zipped one in. He said he put way too much mustard on it, and it was an incomplete pass. They wound up scoring on it anyways. But I find it hard to trust Keon Coleman and put Keon Coleman in when you had such a big day passing the ball downfield. Their best passing day other than the Ravens game, which ironically Keon Coleman was a big part of. Yeah. But
and John letting it rip.
Exactly. Now, Stevie, did you happen we'll play the sound here. Here's Dion Dawkins on Keon Coleman.
I already spoke to him. When I spoke to Keon before in this game, and I told him, I said, bro, look, don't even worry about it. Everybody goes through a different journey, right? Let's just say that this is the last time, and let's just move forward. And he said, I'm with you. That's all and we need, right? Like, nobody's perfect, but in this league, we need guys to come on. And Keon knows, right? Now he's in the hot seat, and he needs to come on and show up for us. Pats on the back are over with, and it's time for him to grow up, and he knows it. And as an older player on the team, we hold everybody accountable. And we shoot straight. We don't sugarcoat it, and the words were said to him, and he took it well. And we'll see how it goes in this week. But like I said in the beginning of the season, I'm in Keon's corner, man. Like, this league is hard. Being on time is hard. Being great is hard. Pushing for greatness is hard. So we got his back, but the time is now.
Okay, so we just heard the Dion Dawkins sound. Pats on the back are over with. Time to grow up. Stevie Johnson, you hear that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's accurate on everything that he's saying. It's about accountability. And what Dion is doing is holding his boy accountable, and he's not doing it in the wrong way. He's just being straightforward with him, letting him know what's up. And the time for games and stuff is over, even considering that you're all in the news for et cetera on the field. It's just an unfortunate situation that you missed the meeting. We've all been there. We've all been in a situation where we missed our alarm or overslept. And I have personally also, we all have, but at this point, I think the message is clear for him. And after watching Keon's reactions, it seems like he's getting it. He gets it.
Credit to Dion Dawkins. Leader behavior. Yeah. That's the kind of thing you want to see. And I agree with Stevie. Like, he said what he had to say. He was very to the point, and that's kind of maybe the energy that Keon needs. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I think that was great. It needs to be called out.
I think it also speaks to the Bills locker room, and that someone like Dion is comfortable as a leader to be like, no, you know what? The pats on the back are over. That was the one that stood out to me. It's like, we need to kind of show this guy some tough love. Dion is a leader, and he's saying, you got to be accountable. So, Stevie, how do you think Keon responds to this?
The way he is, and I don't mind him dancing on the side because we don't know the relationship that him and Coach McDermott has. McDermott's probably like, yo, I got you. You here. You go be with me. We not getting rid of you. Bean probably said some things to him. So, yeah, be you. We actually grew to love this guy who came in dancing and being that youthful guy. Now, because he's a youthful guy making a mistake and he's dancing on the sideline, not pouting and crying and looking like he don't want to be here, it's a double-edged sword on everything. So I think he's taking it the right way in everything that he said and how he's responding. He's just got to continue to show up.
I was going to ask about that because I did see people kind of giving him a lot of flack for looking loosey-goosey, maybe not locked in on the sideline, dancing. My opinion was like, maybe you want to look a little locked in, but if that's him, it's him.
Exactly. That you nailed it, Tekeyah. If that's him, it's him. And I talked to Deion Dawkins last year at Super Bowl week, and he said the best part of being on this team is that they are allowed to be themselves. You have a lot of creative individuals with strong personalities.
Yeah.
And that's what Deion said. McDermott lets you be you. And if that's who Keon is, that's one clip posted to Twitter, completely out of context. We don't know what's happening there. He could have been, do you want him to look straight forward and just be staring at the game? Does that appease the Twitter audience? Like, no, that's kind of BS. Let these guys be who they are. And what really matters is how he responds to that this week.
Yeah.
If he goes and has a good week of practice, if he's on time for these meetings, that is what matters, not some out of context sideline dance that everybody wants to react to on Twitter.
Yeah. So definitely fair assumption to get on him about anything concerning missing meetings. That's totally unacceptable. You know, and he's got to be better on that. Set 6 alarms. You know, that's what I teach my Exposure Academy kids. That's a conversation that we have every academy, setting alarms. And if somebody with you and they don't wake you up, that's not your friend. So get rid of them and find a new friend. So, you know, it's on him to change. And that's what Deion's talking about. You're a big boy now. You know, you can't rely on somebody else. You can't even rely on that one alarm, you know, because we go hit the snooze on that thinking we got that at 5 minutes. You feel me? So time to step it up, my boy. And he will.
Are you a big snooze guy, Stevie? That alarm goes off, you're not ready to start the day. You just, because I'm like, I want to hit that thing 3-4 times, but my wife has told me you do not. Just when the alarm goes off, you get up. I don't want to hear that alarm go off every 10 minutes for 40 minutes.
The women, see, Tekeyah can attest. I know it. The women know. I was every kind of hit the snooze. I'm gonna even wake up hours earlier to wake up and then go back to sleep for another hour. And it always hurt me. I was the guy in the doghouse. I was in these situations, missing meetings and things like that. And then it took for the missus to say, look, when your alarm clock go off, just get up.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And I haven't missed a meeting since. So shout out to the women.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm intrigued to see what happens Thursday. And now let's get right into that Texans game. Like, this is a short week. You're going up against a great Texans defense. Early line on FanDuel, Bills -4.5. We got a super low total. 43.5, like super low total. I think
we hit that themselves.
When we were talking before, let's smash that over. But this Texans defense is really good.
Yeah.
But the main thing is CJ Stroud. And Schefter had a tweet yesterday. We'll bring the tweet up now. Schefter said Stroud's status for next week is uncertain. They're not sure if he's going to clear concussion protocol by Thursday. So I think if Davis Mills is in this game and you're the Bills, you need to go and just take care of business. A short week on the road, go and win that game.
Yep.
But I don't want to see like a slugfest, low scoring game where you have to really tough it out. Like, just go try to win a shootout again. Just let it rip, as Stevie said, offensively, because they can't match points with you. Davis Mills isn't going to match points with you all day. So, Stevie, what are you expecting for Sunday against Houston?
Yeah, you own. They should have brought you in for a pregame speech, because that's it. That was everything that they need to do. Just let it rip and understand what's going to come at you on defense. You know, they're going to play man, they go play press, and they're going to send the guys, you know, and they're going to try to feed off the energy. We can't allow them to have that, you know. So you was spot on with that one.
I think a big thing too, and Tekeyah, you mentioned it before. Last year, Josh Allen was terrible in this game against Houston.
Yeah.
Completion percentage below 50, he was awful. And that Texans defense is, as bad as their team has been, the defense is amazing, maybe the best defense in football. So, Tekeyah, what are you thinking, like, Thursday against Houston? Like, are you laying the 4.5? Like, how confident are you?
It's a week to week. This is the weird thing about the Bills is that I find that they play down to their opponent sometimes.
All the time, yeah.
Well, yeah, all the time. In Miami, like, I don't think anyone would have gone into that game being like, the Bills are going to lose this one.
Yeah.
And they did. And they didn't. They barely put up any points. It was just a disaster of a game. So I don't really know what to say here. I think they're going to win. And I think Josh Allen, like you said, Stevie and Hein, like, the shootout. Like, throw the ball, get points. You don't know what you're going to see on defense, but just try and score more, because if it is Davis Mills, then
he can keep in pace for sure. Now, AFC playoff picture is kind of wide open right now. Like, Denver's first in the conference, and we'll get to Denver and KC a little later. But looking at what the Bills' schedule looks like, they got Pittsburgh they got Houston, then Pittsburgh, and I said it last week. I think they were going to go and rip off 3 straight, and then I don't know, by the time you get to that Pats game in a few weeks could very well be for the division.
That'll be an amazing game. And I feel like the Bills are due to rip off another 3 straight wins. Why? Because of this type of game that they had in the NFC against the Buccaneers, who's a contender, and then the game where they lost against the Dolphins. Those 2 games, I believe, will fuel them going throughout the rest of the season. And then when we do get to the Pats game, I hope they don't enter that game with the same energy they had when they went into the Houston Texans game last year when they had Stephon Diggs. You know, that's where we see our Josh Allen wanting to be perfect. You know, we want him to continue to not care about those turnovers because you play better when you're playing loose. And I feel like that's what Josh is evolving into.
Well, let's look at the schedule then fully. So Texans Thursday at the Steelers, week 14 versus the Bengals. That could be Joe Burrow. With the Bengals playing based off of what the reports are saying. Then you have that week 15 at the Patriots. To Stevie's point, I think that they will show up for that game.
1-1, yeah. I think
yes.
1-1.
And then you finish.
Pittsburgh will be another spark. Yeah, that's going to be another spark because they got an aggressive defense with attitude. You dominate them, that give you a lift of spirits.
And then you finish at the Browns, Eagles at home, at the Jets. That Eagles game could be a Super Bowl preview. Your Eagles looked great last night against the Lions. That defense looked really good. Yeah. Given where the schedule is at now, I think the division is still up in the air. I think the odds are maybe you're getting the Bills at pretty good money to win that. And the Patriots still have to play the Ravens. So I think you need to hope for the Ravens to give you some help, and then you need to beat the Pats, and then that division is a bit of a coin toss again.
But I think, Hein, you were saying that the Patriots have had a very easy schedule.
Technically, I think easiest schedule in NFL history was the tweet I sent you guys.
They was once saying the Bills have the easiest schedule.
Exactly.
It's so true.
So
this game is so. That's why I love it. That's why we always watch it. Every week it changes. You know, I said 17-0, I think, and here we are with 3 losses.
I said 17-0. So
one other thing then, too, just a couple more points from last game. And I think it's the run D, and luckily we won't really have to worry about this in the Houston game. The Bucs are the 3rd team to run for over 200 yards against the Bills. Dolphins almost got there as well. Dolphins got to 197, and the Saints got to 189. So that's 5 games where you're averaging.
What did Bijan get?
That he was in there. Falcons were on there.
Sorry.
Falcons were on there. We're one of those teams.
Yeah, our defense is like Josh. You know, I feel like it's like he misses these easy ones sometimes, but he still broke a record that nobody's done since 1954. And our defensive line, we have great names and great athletes there, but it's like we're getting gashed. But we still have to understand that defense is finding chemistry with each other in the interior. And Babbage is working on, mixing guys in and getting them experience like Ogunjobi and TJ Sanders coming back, Walker being mixed in with DQ coming in and out. So I think they're still finding their mix. I'm just happy that they don't ever have their head down. They continue to fight and force these turnovers and get these stops when needed.
So based off of, I think you set it up perfectly. The defense is still finding itself. They have a lot of guys who they've had so many injuries across that, especially across that front 4. Are you worried though, come playoff time, about that run defense? Or do you think with enough time, with a little chemistry, the possibility of maybe Ed Oliver back for an AFC championship game, are you worried about the Bills' run defense for the playoffs?
It is a concern for me, but I'm not worried about it considering the fight that this defense has and the evolution that Babbage is utilizing by bringing in players that can help out this defense. The defense is hurting right now with injuries. However, we still have players that's suiting up that can contribute, like Dorian Williams on the backside, to help stuff these runs and give that energy to stop the run. So we know that we've been gashed. However, I feel like the defense is always in attack mode and they still bend, but they never break. And I love that about the Buffalo Bills defense.
What about you, Tekeyah? Are you worried about the run D?
Yes. Stevie, I mean, I'm with you on that. I love your confidence. But I have to say, we've been gashed and lost games we shouldn't have lost because the run defense is not there. So it does worry me.
I think one big thing for me with the defense is I was worried more so when the safeties were the problem. And it was like, for me, it's like when you're going to be in the playoffs, you're going to have to probably beat a Mahomes. You're going to have to beat a Lamar Jackson. And I'm not really concerned about having to worry about beating an Indy and a Jonathan Taylor because I think you're run for 200, we can still outscore you. But Cole Bishop's play over the last 2 weeks, he's turning into a superstar in front of our eyes. And I don't know how much of that comes from having a safety blanket like Jordan Poyer beside him, who's so experienced, who's making big plays. To me, solidifying the safety position has sort of changed what this defense can be and what they're capable of come playoff time.
Yes. Cole Bishop is an athletic enforcer. Like, he has been on this season. I love the progression from him, and he showed everything why he was a captain in college, leader of his team, and going into Buffalo and having an up and down start and just been continuing to ascend. I love what Cole Bishop has been showing.
One other final point just before we'll wrap up on yesterday's game and then go and talk some Chiefs Broncos. But your boy Ray Davis, I would say actually the return game as a whole, Ray Davis was unbelievable returning kicks, and that maybe is an underrated part of how the offense was set up for success, because they were starting drives at the 45 a couple times in plus territory. So to me, the special teams really, really helped the offense, and that made a huge difference in that win over the Bucs.
Absolutely. That was huge by Ray Davis. I think the spark of Mecole Hardman coming in and a lot of the social media talk, and seeing his brother, his fellow Wildcat, Max Harrison, get a lot of attention. This is your opportunity on kickoff return. And he was definitely making the most of it. That's huge for Ray Davis. So he's showing that he's a solid back in his league, and utilizing himself in the run in a kickoff return game is huge for his own offense.
The nerve of some people to say Kentucky's a basketball school when you got Stevie Johnson, Ray Davis, Max Harrison, all of these studs coming out of that football program.
Thank you, brother. Even though I did go to Kentucky because their basketball team, it was Tayshaun Prince. So I give it credit.
That's awesome. Also, the current MVP, Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, NBA champion, MVP, Kentucky Wildcat. So we all got that connection. Okay, let's talk some Chiefs, because they lost, and Denver now, the AFC West looks to be a wrap. Like, the Broncos have control of that, but are the Chiefs going to miss the playoffs? Tekeyah, let's start with you.
I'm going to be a little biased here and say I kind of hope so. They are on the outside right now, and when you look at last year, they were getting the bounces their way. They were 12-0 in one-score games. This season they're 0-5. They're not getting the bounces. So are they going to miss the playoffs? It's the Chiefs. It's so tough for me to say that they're going to miss the playoffs, but I don't know. They're on the outside looking in right now.
Honestly, that stat is great, and that is kind of the definition of what this Chiefs season was. And last year, I remember we ran that Aaron Paul Breaking Bad meme, though. You can't keep getting away with this, because every time they were like, look at last year, that game against the Broncos.
Exactly.
Broncos in position to win, Chiefs blocked the field goal.
Exactly.
Now those bounces are not going their way. Stevie, what do you think? If you think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs, you're getting a great number on FanDuel, but are the Chiefs going to miss the playoffs?
Oh, I'm with Tekeyah. I hope so, but I don't believe Pat is going to allow that to happen. I think they got too many dogs as far as him and Kelsey to have a meeting and just take over the rest of the season. I want to beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl, but if not, then yeah, cool. We still got to worry about Jacksonville that dominated the Chargers, at home. So
I kind of honestly,
it's going to be a showdown either way.
I'm kind of with you, Stevie. If the Bills were to win the Super Bowl but not have to go through the Chiefs, it wouldn't feel as special. But I think to make the playoffs in the AFC, minimum 10 wins, maybe 11. Chiefs right now 5-5. This is the remaining schedule. This week versus the Colts. That's no gimme. That's a tough game. Then at the Cowboys, should have no problem there. Week 14, home to the Texans. I think what's up with Stroud will be a big factor in that. But that's, as we said, Texans great D. Week 15, Chargers. Chargers already beat them. Week 16 at Titans. That's a gimme. Week 17, Broncos. Broncos just beat them. Week 18 at Raiders. Let's all remember what happened on Christmas when the Raiders beat the Chiefs. But looking at that, I say you're for sure wins over the Cowboys, for sure win over the Titans, for sure win over the Raiders. So that's 3. You're going to probably need 3 more, though. That gets you to 8. I think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. And when the Chiefs are in the playoffs, if even Chiefs get in as a 7 seed, I don't care. I'm taking them on the road.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they're playing other than the Bills. I think they win those games. But I think it's going to be a little more tough sledding. And especially if Indy can beat KC this week, then it's an uphill climb and you're going to see those numbers flip.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. You're seeing the Jacksonvilles and the Colts and the Broncos. All these teams are top of the AFC. So pretty wild.
It's wide open.
It's wide open.
Who's good? Okay, I think the Bills are good, but who's good in the AFC? I don't trust Indy in a playoff game. I'm yet to trust. I know Denver's looked great and their pass rush is awesome. I'm not ready to trust Bo Nix in a playoff game.
But do we trust Baltimore?
I think I trust Baltimore, but they struggled yesterday. Shedeur Sanders was like, I think 4 of 16, multiple sacks and threw an interception, and he still almost beat them.
Yep.
Stevie, who do you trust in the AFC outside of the Bills?
Oh, I was going to say the Bills. Man, I'm going to say Mahomes. I trust Mahomes to be in these type of unfortunate situations, but bounce back, just like our Buffalo Bills. I'm so locked in on the Bills, man.
For sure.
But
us too. Okay, let's look ahead to tonight. We have a pretty fun Monday nighter, and I know these are teams with bad records, but I see Cowboys Raiders, and I just think points. I think this could be a shootout. I see 2 bad defenses. We're gonna do a little your way parlay. I'll kick us off. I love Brock Bowers tonight.
Yep.
So we're gonna go Brock Bowers 6 receptions. The Cowboys allow 6 receptions per game, 2 tight ends, which is 22nd in the NFL. And Bowers, we saw it a couple weeks ago. He was a monster and then sort of fell back. I think he explodes tonight against the Cowboys, and we're going your way. So we're adjusting the line as we see fit.
Yep.
So Bowers 6 receptions. Tekeyah, what are you on?
Well, I think Dallas is 31st in yards per game allowed and points per game allowed. So I'm going to go for a touchdown here. I think Genty finds the end zone.
Very on brand for you. Of course you're going for a touchdown. Now, Stevie, before we were talking, you mentioned Geno Smith. The line was 230-ish, but you can adjust that. So what are you doing with Geno?
Yeah, we go bump that line up to 250, and I'm going to take the under. But not just because I don't believe in this game. I want a lot of spark in Geno, and I want to see Brock Bowers go to work. So I'm going to take the under on it and then challenge Geno to go out and let it fly.
Well, I, for one, hope that Geno does not accept the challenge and we win our bet. And you go to FanDuel, make that bet, use your way. It's great. You can set the lines yourself. We will be back on Friday this week. We got a 2-show week. So, Stevie, why don't you play us out?
Yeah, I'm going to play it out just how I started. Giving props to the coordinator and Joe Brady. Well done. Continue doing what you're doing. And through the fire, continue to get those sweet victories. Go Bills for life. This has been another segment of The Broken Table. Stay tuned next week. Peace.